Everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you something that's kind of easy but kind of different. I was browsing around Pinterest, as I'm sure many craft YouTubers do, and I came across this super cute picture of a pair of paper quilled earrings. Now, a couple months ago, I think at this point, I had done a video where I learned to paper quill, which is basically an art style entirely revolved around curling paper and then folding it into shapes. And I thought it was a super unique and beautiful kind of art that I cannot believe that more people were not doing, because it's not too difficult and it creates some absolutely beautiful pieces. Now, I'm not saying that this is the most gorgeous piece of paper quilled artwork that there is out there, but I love florals, and this is like just floral central basically, and I thought that this was kind of a nice place to start. So I decided I wanted to kick it up a notch and see if I could make some paper quilled jewelry, and I'm going to take you through the process of making both a set of earrings inspired by the original picture I saw on on Pinterest, and then I'm going to come up with my own design for a little bit of a choker. To paper quill, you're going to need teeny tiny skinny little sheets of paper. I got this from a paper quilling kit. It's kind of folded up a little funny because of the way it was packaged, but it's still functioning, and it came in a lot of nice sets of gradients. I've got some blues, greens, purples. I've got a pretty decent variety of colors here, and I am only going to be using 3 colors for this first design here. First things first, I actually cut all of these pieces or strips of paper in half, so I just kind of looped it up like that, took a pair of scissors and went through. I'm going to add a little bit of an extra step. Obviously, we have our medium blue and our dark blue that were cut in half. For this one, I'm actually going to kind of do this into a set of 1/4 and then 3/4. So here is half of half, so I'm going to cut there, and this is a 1/4 strip, and then I have a 3/4 strip that I'm going to fold in half and then cut in half that way. The only reason I am doing this here is because I am going to need an extra loop to attach the paper quills to the jump ring. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to show you how to coil this up. I came to find that with the jump ring, even this skinny little sheet of paper was a little too thick, so I am actually going to go through and cut it in half. Now I have an even skinnier sheet of paper, and here is where you bring out your little coiler, if you will. I actually don't, paper quiller, I don't know what to call this. Basically, all you have to do is go to the end, and you'll see that there is a split in your paper quiller. There are plenty of DIY tutorials out there on how to make your own. I like this one because it's nice and skinny, especially for these teeny tiny slivers of paper. I'm not a big fan of giant or gaudy jewelry, so I try to keep my jewelry relatively simple and small, and I was trying to imitate that with this project as well. All you're going to do is actually just twist your paper around and around and around, trying to keep it as even as possible until it's fully coiled around the top. Now, this one I didn't measure, I didn't think it really mattered, so I just kind of loosened it up a little bit till it got to like a relatively even point, and then you're going to take a dab of glue on the edge here and glue it closed. This is what it should look like once it's been all coiled, and just to kind of get a nice head start, I'm going to take my silver jump ring. I'm doing silver for the earrings, I'm going to be doing gold for the choker, just based on what I had laying around, and I'm going to open this up. You can see there is a nice opening there, and I'm actually just going to slip it right through the center. I'm going to take my earring back piece here. You can see there's a little loop at the bottom there. Slip that in, and then close it right back up so that the paper cannot escape. And do this pretty delicately so you don't rip the paper, obviously. That's the easiest way to do it. And here is the start of our earrings. Now I have this other half of the sheet here, and I'm going to follow the same process that I did the last time. I'm going to stick it into the paper quiller, and I'm going to roll it up. A super cool tool here in order to keep all of my circles a similar size. I'm using this 12, I believe, millimeter circle. I pop my paper quill off into the hole and let it expand out to that 12. So now, just like the last time, I'm going to glue the edges here and then closing it up. Now we want all the colors to be into this like leaf shape. I think this is called a marquee in the paper quilling world. See, I do know one of these words. So what you're going to do is you will take your coiled circles, you will find an even pinch on both, and you will just pinch the edges down to form that shape. Once you've got your shapes, you're just going to do the same thing to your other colors until you have 2 of the lightest blue, 2 of the medium blue, and 1 of the dark blue. I'm going to start this by adding glue on one side of my light blue coil attached to my earring back, and I'm going to put that glue dot closer to the bottom, and I'm going to attach my first of my light blue to the outside, and I'm going to make sure that I have the fold, this section here where the paper is folded, facing the inside so that the outside is nice and pretty. Once that's dry, I'm going to go to the other side, add another dot of glue, and glue my second one. And we're going to try to keep these nice and even all the way down. Next, we're going to add a dot of glue to the inside of the bottom of our little marquee leaves. Take a medium blue. Once again, try to keep your edges on the inside and attach that to the end. Same for the other side, a little dot of glue. I like to make sure it's nice and flat to prevent any awkward bulging, I guess. And we'll pop that on too. Once again, making sure we're pressing it nice and flat so it doesn't get into any weird shapes. And lastly, I like to add my dot in the middle here, and a relatively big one so that I can squeeze it closed on those two, and stick my blue, my dark blue, right in the middle. Now here is our set of super cute and unique ombre paper quilled earrings. Alright, we've got the earrings done. Now the next design is a choker. I measured a piece of gold chain going all the way around my neck just to make sure that it would fit tight, but not so tight that it hurts. I also have a gold jump ring and a gold lobster clasp. For this, I'm actually just going to start by opening up my jump ring and attaching it to my chain with my lobster clasp. So I have opened my jump ring, pardon the lack of focus, and I'm going to stick it inside of the end of my chain, much like that. Attach my lobster clasp, and once again, close it back up. To make things easy, I'm actually going to add another jump ring to the other side just to have a larger opening to clasp that lobster clasp onto, make it nice and easy. Attach that in. And I actually remembered that I have these little stamping plates from an old DIY that I thought would be a perfect base to put my paper quill design onto. So I am actually going to take yet another jump ring, open it up, going to slip it inside this stamping blank here, I believe is what they're called. You can go directly into the chain to make sure it stays centered, or you can go around the chain so that it acts more like a charm and it can roam a little bit more freely. So now we have our plain simple choker, and now it's time to paper quill a design to glue on there. Much like the last design, I'm going to start by taking this medium purple and I'm going to stick it inside of my paper quiller and roll it up. And now with my paper completely coiled, I'm actually going to go for this like teardrop shape because I think it'd be a cool charm, I guess. And I'm going to pop it in there, and unlike doing the last design where we had to pinch both ends, on this one, I'm only going to pinch one end. Right, now I'm going to take this deeper, more like kind of mauvey magenta purple, I guess. I'm going to cut that in half because I think that is a more appropriate size, and I'm going to make those same teardrop shapes again. Alright, I've got now 2 of these dark purple made from half strips and 1 of the light purple made from a full strip. All right, now that that's all done, this is kind of the design idea I had in mind, where I've got the two flat bits over here, the triangle laying on top. I don't know which way I think maybe looks better, but I think I like this one the best, and I think it'll give me a lot of surface area to glue it onto my stamping back up here. So this is the order I'm going to glue them in. First gluing these three all together in the center with a nice glob of glue, and then gluing this guy on top. I changed my mind. I want the round sides hanging out together. I think that looks better, so I'm gonna do that. And in an unsurprising turn of events, I've changed my mind yet again, and I am going to skip the green altogether because I don't think it looks right, and I am going to glue the light purple onto the charm to create a charm that looks something like this. And there we go, we have our choker. And this is how everything turned out. I think these are actually really, really beautiful, and I think they're like just a very, very specific but very attractive kind of handmade. They're not the most sustainable, to be fair, but I think this is really great if you need a quick pair of maybe like costume jewelry for a costume, or you know, if you're in a play or something. It's an easy way to kind of create these really like ornate looking detailed pieces of jewelry without having to actually go out and spend a ridiculous amount of money. Plus, I mean, some of these colors are really freaking gorgeous, and if you do these right, I think they can definitely turn out amazing. So with all that said, I wanted to thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you here again next Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time for another video. Thanks again, and I hope to see you there. Bye!